So Tony Khan's been alluding to that AEW is the best it's ever been. And that's a lie because that's definitely the furthest thing from the truth. I think AEW has been on a decline progressively since 2023. And I feel the best years of AEW are behind them, and their best years were from 2019 to about mid 2022. To me, that was the best AEW has ever been. But it has progressively fallen off since, 2023. He's saying that the quality of the show is fantastic. And it's not. Far from it. The wrestling may be good, but the quality of the shows and the angles and the characters on the show, they're just falling behind. AEW, they lack strong characters. They lack riveting storytelling. Okay? And the biggest problem that I know to be is the fact that you got your world champion, Jon Moxley, doesn't even show off the belt. And if you're trying to convince people that your world champion is the greatest wrestler of all time, right? They're the best in the business. Then why do they have to hide the championship inside a briefcase? How much sense does that make? That doesn't make any sense. And not to mention your tag team division is also lacking because, yeah, you got the Hurt Syndicate as tag team champions, but who do they really have as their equals? Because they can just run through, like Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin. They can just run through the whole tag team division, no problem. And from what I'm seeing, you don't have a lot of strong tag teams. Aside from maybe FTR, that's their only real tag team they really got in these last few years, in the Young Bucks, but they're not heavily involved in the tag team division, right? Aside from those teams that I just named, who else is a strong contender? And I ain't talking about some makeshift tag team, because to me, I hate makeshift tag teams. They'd never work. They may work in some capacity, if they have a strong story behind it. But if you're just putting two wrestlers together just for the hell of it, it's gonna fall flat. It's gonna fall flat. And so I'm looking at their tag team division right now as lackluster. And they might as well keep those belts on Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin until they can properly build up their tag team division the right way. And then, not to mention everyone's favorite female wrestler, Mercedes Moné. I'm going to officially call her Mercedes Hogan, because at this point, it's pretty evident, judging by the way she's booked and presented. She has all the titles. It's pretty predictable at this point. She's going to beat Toni Storm. If she doesn't beat Toni Storm, then what was the point of spending the last year and a half of building up Mercedes Moné? You're giving her all the belts, the TBS title, all the belts from other promotions that she had the freedom to go out and wrestle and win those titles. A lot of people can say, well, Charlotte and Becky, they're the female Hulk Hogan. No, not in a million years. That to me is stupid, to say that they're the female Hulk Hogan. No. Charlotte Flair has not won a match in forever. When's the last time she was champion? When's the last time Becky was in a prominent role? Yeah, she's a women's Intercontinental champion, but she's really not on top of the card anymore. She's taken a back seat like Charlotte has. Mercedes, is already on the top. So it's a foregone conclusion she is going to beat Toni Storm. And then we have to deal with more Mercedes. I don't have a problem with Mercedes Moné as a wrestler. The problem that I have is that you have burnt out. You have exhausted all options in the women's division. You've had Mercedes beat everybody. If she wins the title, the world title, who else she gonna face? Why face anybody at that point? You beat everybody. Who is there to face? Now, technically speaking, Mercedes Moné is the greatest female wrestler now. Because in the fans' eyes, she is that. So now there's really no going back. Because you already create that image of her that she is the greatest wrestler, well, female wrestler of all time. But in my eyes, she's overrated, overhyped. And, her matches are good. But to be honest, I'm not feeling her character at all. And I don't appreciate that you have all the other women taking a back seat when they're more than ready for their opportunity. Everyone like Chris Statlander, Willa Nightingale, they got to take a back seat. They have about 33, 34 active female wrestlers on their roster, and most of them are just taking a back seat. Most of them are not being used, and most of them got to play second fiddle to Mercedes Moné. So you bury your whole entire division just for Mercedes. To me, that's dumb. That's stupid booking. It doesn't accomplish anything. And to me, Tony Khan talking about some growth for TBS and Dynamite, Dynamite airing on TBS. I mean, there really isn't no growth at all. The ratings are still the same, and most of the time they're down. And that's why they're already streaming Dynamite, and I believe Collision as well on Max. So quick. Within 5 years of being in business, you're already streaming your weekly television show on Max already. And that's because a lot of people that have cable watch TV. They're not looking at AEW. They're not looking at Dynamite. Only a minority is looking at Dynamite and watching it. Why? Because it has quality wrestling. And the buck stops there. Just quality wrestling. That's all they got to offer at this point. Nothing more. And really nothing less. So, to me, TK is delusional and doesn't see the fact that people are turning off AEW. A lot of people have turned off for the last 5 years. And they can do a lot better than what they're doing right now. They can grow. There's a reason why they have to settle for small venues. So it looks like from watching on TV that they're filled up. They have a packed house. It's not even an arena. It's just like a small venue. I mean, it's an arena, but it's small. If you look at their earlier shows from like 3-4 years ago, they had packed arenas. They had a bigger arena. Now they have smaller arenas because they realize these bigger arenas that we're going to be, attempting to sell out, we're not going to succeed. We're not going to succeed in selling out those bigger arenas with people. Because otherwise, on the other side of the hard camera, there'll be barely anybody seated. You have a lot of empty seats. And maybe about 2 rows filled up with people. That's about it. So we can't show that side. Can't show that camera side. Nope. We gotta hide that. So I mean, it's just delusional for me at this point, you know. The ratings are not going up, they're going down, or they'll stay at the same number as they always do. I don't bother watch Collision. I don't really have time to check that out. Dynamite, I've checked out that completely. I see clips on YouTube. If there's something important going on in the main event scene, I'll check that out on YouTube. Right? But there's really nothing else for me to really look at. I don't know. It's just there's a disconnect for me when it comes to AEW as a whole. So Tony Khan has a lot of work to do if he wants to get those ratings increased and to put on the best quality shows possible. You know? And what is it going to really take? Who knows? I don't know what it's really going to take for AEW to be an equal to the WWE, because they can be an equal. They're on cable. They're on cable. They can be viewed on TV, right? Weekly. They should be, you know, Tony Khan should be considered lucky that he has a spot on TNT. He had a spot on TNT, he had a spot on TBS as well. Well, if you're going to have a spot on cable, then you better put on the best shows possible week to week. No excuses. At this point, okay, we're about over 300 episodes of Dynamite. We should be picking up the ball and running with it. Because there's going to come a point in time when they're not going to no longer have a TV deal, and they're going to just be strictly being viewed on Max, on just a streaming app. Okay, TNA, the only reason why TNA has legs now to stand on is because NXT, WWE gave them life support. TNA been on life support for years, and they survived a lot of storms, but they were strictly viewed on a streaming app. They were not on TV anymore. They used to be on Spike TV because the ratings were so bad. It had to be taken off of TV, taken off cable. So I don't want to see AEW go down the TNA route. I mean, this is their 5th year, and you're already on a decline. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, get your shit together, Tony. Get your shit together. So that being said, like the video, subscribe for more content, and I'm out, and peace.